Welcome to the Hamilton County Coaches Show. I'm Perry Williams, and alongside me today is a head football coach of the Noblesville Mailers. Welcome, Coach Sharpe.
Thanks, Perry. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. Well, Friday night was a tough one, okay, but let's talk a little bit about that game, and we'll go over that, and then we'll discuss about upcoming homecoming game on Friday.
Yeah, sure. I'm really proud of the way that we played. You know, we ended up 7 points behind, but I think we played really hard. We did a lot of things that we wanted to do on both sides of the ball. We just, again, we got off to a slow start, and that's kind of been all 4 weeks. We've gotten the opening kick, and we've gotten 0 points on our opening drive, but you know, our game plan with Westfield, we knew they're electric on offense with, you know, Garnett and Aaron Bolas and Nosler and the rest of that good crew, that good offensive line. So we definitely wanted to play keep away and to try to shorten the game. That's not a secret. They kind of know that too. So we got off to a good start. The first couple of, getting a couple of first downs. Then we had right when we crossed the 50-yard line, we had just a missed blocking assignment. Like in these big games, we always take into account there's going to be a little bit of miscommunication. There was one play in particular where we read the wrong play on the wristband and all that stuff, and before you know it, there's an unblocked guy, and we kind of he sets us behind the sticks a little bit, and we had a 3rd and 6, and we just missed Max Miller on a little seam route. Great job by 37 for Westfield. He gets a fingernail on the football. Otherwise, we convert that, and probably, once we get into plus territory, we're able to play 4 to make 10 until they stop it with what we want to do and continue to chew clock and wear them down. But we weren't able to convert that, so we had to punt, and then they go on like a 16 or 17 play drive.
Yes.
Where again we had chances, but they showed us a lot. Our defense was able to, we had a lot to talk about defensively, which is it's a good thing and a bad thing. You want to get off the field, but we got to see what they were doing. Our defensive coaches were able to, help our guys out with some of the schemes that they were running. Our second drive was really good. Again, it was a big, long, clock-consuming drive, capped off with a beautiful touchdown pass from Baker to Aiden Brewer. So that got us right back in it, but they were able to score then to make it 14-7 kind of late, and that's when we got the 14-7. We got the big penalty, and it put us way back into like a 2nd and 22, I want to say, and that we weren't able to convert on that, obviously, and had to punt. But that's when our defense really is like, oh boy, this could get out of control. But Cole Richardson makes huge play, getting an interception. I believe it's 2 plays later. And a nice return after it to give us more life, and it's we went right back into kind of our 2-minute drill offense, and we hit a big play for about 12 yards, but we turned the ball over, and so that last minute and a half, minute 48 seconds, whatever it was just really crucial. And then I mentioned a little miscommunication on offense during a hectic moment. There was miscommunication on defense in the final touchdown pass. The clock's winding down, and we thought they were going to take a timeout. They didn't. We're trying to get stuff in, and they were able to hit a seam for 25 yards or whatever, and take that big 21-7 lead at half. But our guys know, like, we're right there with them. We just had a couple of breakdowns where we had some things that we wanted to do just didn't go our way, but we still know that we can move the ball in this team, and we can stop this team. And so the second half, the defense really stepped up. Are so proud of the way that they just fought. We had to kick off to them, giving up a back-breaking touchdown with 10 seconds left, and then having to kick off to them. You could sense that the urgency was at an all-time high, and we were able to force a turnover right away with some good pass rush, and able to capitalize on that. A couple of good runs by Gabe Bell and Gage Goalie to punch that thing in and make it 21-14, and then from there we were on fire on defense, and getting a couple of 3 and outs back to back, And again, offensively, we know, I mean, you can't give Kendall Garnett a bunch of carries. So we know that, okay, we're playing with a little bit of house money. We really need to melt this clock. Even though we're down by 7, we really need to just keep them off the field. We're very fortunate to be in this spot, and we're able to get quite a few first downs. We tried a deep ball, we just missed. We eventually had to punt it back to them, but we got it right back, and that's when, again, just slowly and methodically, we were able to get some first downs, again, shoot clock, and then Logan Schauffer hits a big one for 65 or 70 yards to tie the game. So kind of rocked him to sleep, and we're finally able to get Schauf on a big run, which we were, you know, that's what we're always trying to do. We're trying to give him a lot of chances to make those little subtle cuts that he's so good at. So when it was 21-21, and right again, our defense goes right back and makes a great stop, forcing a punt, and something that's going to haunt me for probably to the day I die is I made a huge mistake. I should have had 2 guys deep on that final punt with the wind. We just got to field it, and I'm not sure why. It just, the moment got to me, and I didn't get 2 guys deep for it, so they were able to punt the ball down to about the 1.5 yard line.
Yeah.
And you know, that was a moment. Was, you know, we were kind of on a roll, staying in our tee, ran a lot of our spread shotgun stuff in the first half, and it was just kind of, I felt like we did have a bit of a momentum to us, and I wanted to continue to just let's get a first down or 2. Let's try to basically get the game into overtime. Now, if we break a big run, then we can kind of hurry up. But let's try to. That was kind of our thought process, and they were able to get a good stop. They made it. Their safety makes an amazing play on Baker on the 3rd down and 4, the key play. So we had to punt it back to them, and they were able to score to make it 28-21. But then our last drive, you know, we did some good things. Very fortunate, we got a roughing the passer penalty, which helps out big, and then AB makes a big catch on a slant. And then you know, we run the ball, and Bate gets a face mask call, so it's like, before you know it, we get 30 yards of penalties and about 15 yards of offense, and before you know it, we're right there, and we have plenty of time. I think we had 1:30 with 1 timeout on the 37-yard line, but then we turned the ball over, and the game was over. But it's as proud as I've ever been of a team in a loss. You know, just to continue to believe and to fight back, and to know like we bottled up the run game. Like there wasn't much there for Garnett, and now they did make some. I mean, they made some plays, but for the most part, we're very happy with just the rally that we had on defense. We were flying all over the place, and then offensively, they always play us very conservatively. They play us very deep, very far off the ball, and kind of letting us take those gains at 3 and 4 if we were patient enough to take them. So we kind of took what they gave us, so to speak, and you know, we got that game into a winnable situation. We just weren't able to capitalize. And there's quite a few things I wish I could have done differently, you know. But that's football. You get these you get a couple of moments, and you got to be ready to make correct decisions on both sides, all 3 phases of the game. You know, I mentioned special teams too. So, but I think our kids will be, again, ready to continue to compete. Like, our kids really love football. Just because the game doesn't go your way in the final minutes shouldn't change your approach of strapping up with your buddies and having a great practice all week and getting ready for the next game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the one thing that we found out in this, as we already knew all season long, was how critical those mistakes can hurt you. Okay, yeah. But we already knew that coming in, but it still happens, and you know, we're dealing with 16, 17, and 18.
We forced Westfield to make mistakes too.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like the word mistakes so much, because it's when you're playing as hard as you can, like, the ball's going to take weird bounces, and if you just keep rallying, keep believing, and keep fighting, good things are going to happen. Like, that gain of 3 or 4 is going to turn into a gain of 65, and you never know when it's going to happen. Same thing on defense. Just keep fighting. Eventually, you're going to force a turnover, or get a big tackle for loss or whatever.
Well, the one thing is that, you know, in the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, hopefully everyone has a short memory, okay? And we have another game coming up this week against Zionsville, okay? Let's talk a little bit about this game because it is homecoming. And as I've always realized doing interviews like I have for the last 10 years with coaches, you know, homecoming is important to fans and student body, but a football team, you still got to go out there and do the job on the field. So it's a little bit of a distraction, but it's just part of the game, and you know it's going to happen. But Zionsville came up with a big win this past week against a very good Franklin Central team. So let's talk a little bit about Zionsville because they got a quarterback that can throw the ball and can run the ball pretty well.
Right. So our emphasis this week is break the rearview mirror. Don't even look in the rear. Don't think back about Friday, the ifs and buts. Just take that rearview mirror and just get rid of it and just keep looking forward. As you mentioned, we have a great Zionsville team. They were, defeating Westfield by 13 points late in the game before Westfield came back and won by a point. And then they looked tremendous, lights out on defense against Franklin Central. Really dominated that game at FC. I think it might have been FC's homecoming too. I'm not sure, but they're a very good team led by Murphy, their quarterback. Now we've seen him as a sophomore and a junior. He was the backup quarterback that had to play quite a bit because they've had quarterback injuries the past 2 seasons.
Yes.
So we know him really well, and he's off to a great start. He's one of the most creative scramblers that you'll ever see in high school football. He's just got like kind of that Johnny Manziel kind of a game where he's all over the place, running around left, right, middle, and then throwing it deep. And they do a great job of adjusting to his scramble, and they're great receivers led by Hilton and Bumgardner. Those kids are big time stars for them, and they just have great chemistry, I would say, within their offensive skill game. So very good team that's capable of they scored a bunch on Westfield, they scored a bunch on FC, and then their 2 non-conference games they took care of business. So and then defensively, last year they gave us a look that caught us off guard, and in the first game, and we really play, last year we have to go back and just remember that last year we had the same thing. We kind of had a heartbreaking loss against Westfield, and we came out pretty flat in the first half against Zionsville, and we know that is a realistic possibility, but we have to make sure we do absolutely everything so that doesn't seep into our brain, not even like 1%, or otherwise it could be a disaster like it was in the regular season last time we played Zionsville.
Yeah, because we played a very good game against them in the playoffs. So.
Very much so. So our kids responded like, it's funny because we said that in the regular season last year they beat us by 30, and then in the playoffs we beat them by 30, and if we played them again it'd probably go to triple overtime, he said. So I think we're 2 very even matched teams, and they have great coaching staff over there, and they're going to have some wrinkles for us, we know, and we have to be just ready to play our brand of football, control that clock, get into our spread shotgun stuff when needed to keep the sticks moving, and then defensively just continue to fly around, and before you know it, you can force a turnover or 2 and get a few stops.
Absolutely, Coach. Like you said, one thing I always notice, there's another Bumgardner, and I mean, it seems like a Bumgardner's been playing for Zionsville for a long time, and of course, Hilton's a very talented receiver, and Murphy, the one thing about looking at the stats here, Murphy has completed 72% of his passes.
And a lot of those are deep shots too.
Yeah,
so
he's very accurate.
They've been on fire. They're moving the ball against everybody.
Yeah, because their 4 top receivers, longest runs for touchdown is 25, 42, 24, and 30, and that's in 4 players. Yeah. So they spread it around.
Absolutely.
And Murphy's very, very accurate. So.
And he's a great runner. He's got a lot of rushing yards too.
Yeah, he has 137. So it'll be kind of interesting and be a good way for us to bounce back. And it's always good to win a homecoming.
We feel really confident with our D line. Our defensive line is very athletic. It's very quick. Grayson Owens and Israel Oladipo and Indy Wilhelm and Adam Mahebney and Michael Bennett, Drew Conte. These guys can all move, and we know that we hope that our athleticism up front will help cage in Murphy a little bit more so than the other teams that they've played. He just always he's like Harry Houdini. He finds a way out.
Yeah.
And he's a fun player to watch. When you watch the film of him, it's just like, this kid's amazing. And so I think that's obviously a huge emphasis, just keeping him from scrambling so much. And our linebackers need to play really well. We're able to play Aiden Brewer a lot on defense against Westfield, and that's going to continue. We're going to continue to do that to again get as much speed and athleticism and length on the field, because when that guy takes off scrambling, he can make a defense look silly, and we definitely don't want that to happen to us.
Yeah, and especially Aiden Brewer is a very, very talented athlete. So, yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Of course, we'll be here to broadcast this weekend's game at home, and excited about doing that. And we just feel honored to be able to do that for Noblesville High School. So we thank you for taking time out in your busy schedule, because I know it's a busy schedule this week because you have a lot of activities going on. Well, good luck, Coach.
Well, thanks, Barry. Go Millers.